Okay, that's fine. 1 Samuel, the 16th chapter. Amen. And the 11th verse. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
1 Samuel, the 16th chapter, beginning at the 11th verse. And here begins the reading of God's word. And Samuel said unto Jesse, Are here all thy children? And he said, There remaineth yet the youngest, and behold, he keepeth the sheep. And Samuel said unto Jesse, Send and fetch him, for we will not sit down till he come hither. And he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy, and withal of a beautiful countenance, and goodly to look to. And the Lord said, Arise, anoint him, for this is he. Then Samuel took the horn of oil, and anointed him in the midst of his liars, his accusers, rather, his brothers, And then the Spirit of the Lord came upon David from that day forward. So Samuel rose up and went to Ramah. Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brother. Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brethren. And the Spirit of the Lord came upon David from that day forward. So Samuel rose up and went to Ramah. The word of the Lord is blessed. May God be glorified. May we be edified. And may the devil be horrified. You can take your seats at this time. Amen. If I could, amen, place, amen, a text or a title on this text, which we will try to preach and teach on this morning. It will be, if you will look at your neighbor and say, Neighbor.
Neighbor.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
It's good to see you.
It's good to see you.
But I'm decreeing and I'm declaring that this is my season. Look at somebody else and say, Hey, neighbor, how you doing? It's good to see you. But I'm decreeing and declaring that this is my season. If you believe it, give God a praise. Amen. Beloved, we enter in the text, amen, when the prophet Samuel, amen, has made his way to the house, amen, of Jesse the Bethlehemite. But before we get there, we must go to Samuel, amen, 1 Samuel, the 15th chapter, where we will find what happened before all these things came about. We find, amen, that Samuel was sent by God to anoint Saul to be king over his people Israel. See, Israel wanted to be like everybody else in the sense they wanted to have, amen, a person as their God, amen, as their king, rather, because God, amen, was head at that moment. So since, amen, they wanted that, God said, okay, you want somebody else, amen, that's fine. So Samuel, amen, was sent by God to anoint Saul to be king over his people. But just before that, God gave, amen, Saul a task. God says to him, I want you to go, amen, and gather, amen, them together, 200,000 footmen and 10,000 men of Judea, amen, and he went down to Amalek, and God instructed him, amen, to destroy, amen, everything that was in that place, amen, don't leave nothing there, amen, but destroy, amen, everything. Amen. So Saul goes down, amen, to Amalek, amen, and he does, amen, does everything God tells him to do. Amen. Except for one thing. He kept everything that was valuable. He kept everything, amen, that would help him, amen, in the long run. Amen. And since he did that, since he disobeyed God, God now rejected him as king. He was just, amen, put as king. As soon as he was put in that position, God gave him a task. Amen. He quickly, amen, messed that thing up. Amen. But how many know, amen, that God has a plan? Amen. And I want to say to us, amen, who God, amen, has given, amen, an assignment, or God has, amen, told us to do something, do what God tells you to do. Amen. Because simply when you mess up, amen, God will give you another chance. Amen. But just know He's preparing somebody else for that position. Because somebody ought to say, this is my season. Amen. So now, amen, we find, amen, in the text, amen, that, amen, Saul was now placed as king. Amen. He didn't do what God told him to do. So God said, now it rejected me. So he now sends the prophet Samuel again. He says, now I want you to go to Jesse, because the Lord has provided, amen, a king amongst his sons. I have prepared somebody amongst his sons. So Samuel meets up with Jesse, amen, and he